All right, so a lot happened this weekend. As you can see, the tank is on the horses again. Tracks aren't on it. And if you look at it, it might look a little bit different. Apart from no tracks and up on horses. It might look a little bit different. The reason it looks a little bit different is because it's 27 inches shorter now than it was before. You can see here's a little section right there I just took right out of it. And now it's like that. So why did I do this? Last weekend I finally got it riding, went for the first test drive, the maiden voyage. And there weren't any problems with it, just the bubble problem, which I'll talk about later. But in the video I said that I'm going to change the design from an ISU 152 to a KV2. And over the last week, I was thinking about it, and I changed my mind again. So, what I'm actually going to make is called a T26E4, American heavy tank, kind of heavy medium tank, developed late World War II, and yeah. So, I decided to switch from the KV2 and the ISU because I just figured it'd only be appropriate to make an American tank instead of some Soviet thing, because it only seemed appropriate. Anyways, and that tank, it looks really cool too. I'm gonna roll some pictures, but I'm not gonna be making just any T26 E4. I'm making a special version of it called the Super Pershing. Well, nicknamed the Super Pershing. The Super Pershing was a prototype of the T26E4. Well, it was a T26E4 that was shipped to U.S. Post in Germany, late World War II, for sort of a trial by war scenario. And upon arrival, they decided that it wasn't quite good enough to face a German King Tiger that had just come out. So what they did is they improvised a little bit, and they welded on different armor plates in the front, salvaged from, I think, a boiler, and on the gun mantlet they welded on a piece of 80 millimeter steel salvaged from a destroyed German Panther tank. And I think they gave it a big gun as well, added a bigger gun as well, added some other things to it, as well as additional armor coming out from the gun mantlet that looks sort of like ears or little wings that look really cool. So that's what this is going to be. And the reason I didn't mention that, the reason I shortened it to make this tank is because the proportions were off. It was too long to make it into the Super Pershing because it wouldn't look like the Super Pershing looks like. It had to be shorter to get the scale right. That's why I shortened it. So basically just how I shortened it was I took out a section in the middle instead of just shortening it from the front so that I could still keep all this front assembly stuff I have here. As I showed, this was the piece I took out of the middle. I just cut it right there, and moved the frame right together, welded it back up, and it turned out rather nice. No complaint with it. So another thing I'll have to do is, you can see I've taken off the wheels. There's a couple wheel brackets left on, just the ones at the front and at the back, because the spacing is going to be different in the middle, so I had to take those out. And another thing I did is I redid the hydraulic reservoir here. It's the same reservoir, just much shorter. The reason I shortened it is not because it wouldn't fit now that I made the tank shorter, but because it was just way too big originally. The original size I had would have worked if I had like 25 gallons of hydraulic fluid, but I only have 10. So the fluid level before was like right here, and then that would like really slosh around, create bubbles and stuff, and also drop below the inlet, and the pump would start sucking in air, and it just was not good. So now I made it much shorter. As you can see, the fluid level will be pretty much almost up to the top, and that won't give me any problems with the intake taking in air instead of fluid. And because it'll be so close to the top, though, I'm going to have to make some sort of seal around here so that oil doesn't leak out from that. And as well, you can see I painted it. I just painted it black Really just for aesthetic purposes. I guess it'll prevent rust as well, but I just think it looks a lot better like this. I mean, it'll prevent rust and it covers up some of my crappy welds. So, and here's the inlet I redid. Just have this pipe coming out of 90, some support bars. Basically exactly how it was before, just smaller, more appropriate sized. And so this, I'm gonna need to make a new board down here because see, this doesn't come all the way up. So I'll make a new one of those. And let's see, what else is there? I think that's mostly it. I mean, the wheels I'm gonna make, those wheels aren't going to work. I said in other videos I don't like those wheels, and they're just not gonna work because they're way too small to look right. I need ones that are like 11 to 12 inches, and so I'll be making new wheels sometime pretty soon, hopefully, and I'll get a video on that because I've gotten a lot of questions on did I make the wheels, how I made them, and that sort of stuff. So when I make the new wheels, I'll show you the whole process. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I took out the battery, as you can see. The battery is up on there. I took out all the wiring because the starter stopped working. If I get the starter working again, we'll get another starter that works. I'll put all that back in and have electric start instead of pull start again. But eventually I will put the battery in regardless because I'll have interior lights and headlights and stuff. So the battery will probably go like up here to the side of your feet where it's not in the way or anything. And again, the tracks, since I shortened the tank, the tracks are gonna have to be shortened as well, which is a good thing because I was already planning on redoing the splice on the track and switching it over to the hinge type thing instead of what I have on there now, because I'll make the splice much stronger and won't have to worry about that. And so that's pretty much it now. I mean, by doing this, by choosing to like make this short and everything, I am adding a lot more work for myself, but I do think it's worth it. The finished product will be much cooler, and I think I'll be a lot more happy with it. But so yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been really busy this weekend, shortening the frame, make sure everything was good, redoing the hydraulic reservoir, and yeah. So I don't know how long it'll be until I get it running again, because last weekend just gave me a little taste of what it's like to actually be driving this thing. And so, and also you could have seen from last video that it was pretty slow. I mean, like a casual walking pace is what it was going at, but eventually I can fix that because I'll just change the gear ratio from the engine to the pump so that the pump's pumping faster, pumping more fluid out, and that'll go faster. That's not a priority by any means though. So, yeah. That's it for now, and the exhaust will also be redone. Right now I have these stacks on there with the little flaps, but that's just not going to work for the Pershing I'm making because it would look cool in the other tanks, but I know it looks cool right now, but it's going to look stupid with the new type of tank I'm making. So the way the exhaust is going to work, the way the exhaust was originally on the Pershing was it came out through the middle, and there was just like a hole in the back, in the center. But it looks really stupid, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do I'm going to keep the dual exhaust. It'll come out onto the sides. There'll be like a muffler on each side and the exhaust coming out on the sides. Other American tanks of World War II were similar to that, and I think that looks much cooler than just like a little hole in the back. And I don't want a hot exhaust line running right up through all the hydraulic lines and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this weekend. Next would be, what's next? I'm also gonna have to redo this whole thing up here because the new wheels I'm gonna have are gonna be much bigger and it's gonna have to be lower or else the track will be too high up. So that will be coming up soon. I'm gonna try to get the material for the wheels as soon as possible, but that'll be coming up as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.